Hi. This is the last trip of my trip. My third ceremony, and it was a big one for me. I went into this ceremony with two intentions. Last time I did one, and the time before that I did three. My intentions had to do with my fear of going home and not applying what I'd been taught. So my first intention was the courage to be myself. And my second intention was the strength to conquer my addiction. What's funny is after my second experience, if you saw my last video, you know that after the ceremony, I went back into the ayahuasca and had a terrifying experience. I told myself, I was 200% convinced. I said, I'm not doing the third ceremony. No way. That night I told myself, I'm not doing it. No way, I'm not going through this again. The next morning, some of the people kind of talked me into it, and they said, yeah, it was terrifying, but that was part of it. You overcame it, and you realized you were fine. And so I thought, okay, I'll drink half a cup. When I go there, I'll just drink half the cup he gives me. And then, of course, when the ceremony started, I just downed the whole thing. But I'm so glad I did. I was just kind of scared. When I drank the cup, kind of like my last ceremony, my brain just opened up so wide. I just cannot express how the depth and the space our brains are capable of seeing and almost comprehending. It was so vast. I just cannot believe how big everything was. So big that when I raised my arm in front of me, I could feel it miles behind me, if that makes sense. Just so huge, so expansive. And I literally spent probably an hour just looking at the expansiveness, and it's probably the part of the vision that people will forget because they remember all the journeys I go through. But that part is really big, should not be discounted. So I sat there for a long time, watched the patterns, watched the colors and the shapes that were before me in this vast universe. And while I was watching those patterns and designs, I saw my moth again, his beautiful wings and all that. He was there. As I could feel the effects kind of retreating, that's when I said, okay, we'll see if I can go on another vision. So I went and I just explored my brain. I kept repeating my intention, my first intention, which was courage to be myself. And then the ayahuasca told me, no, that's not what you need. It's not the courage or the lack of that is holding you back, but it's the fact that you give way too much importance to what people think about you. You just care too much about what they think. And after I was told that, I went, yeah, you're right, that's what it is. It's not that I'm not strong enough, it's that I care too much about what people think about me. And it makes me so that I'm not living for me, that I'm making my decisions based on what I think other people will think of me if I make A, B, or C decision. And it just felt true, yeah. So as I was searching my brain, I decided I was going to look for that, for the part of me that gives so much importance to what people think. So I just dug around my brain. I don't even know how long I was searching, for a while. And I just was able to find a way through my brain. And I realized that I was really just exploring every nook and cranny of my brain because the ayahuasca had taken away all those boundaries. So I'm digging through my brain and I eventually find it, and it's this black smoke. And I kind of swirl it and it condenses into this black blob. And I'm staring at it and I went, oh, okay, I found it. And I wasn't sure what to do with it. And I went, okay, I wonder if I can delete it. Poof, and it was just gone. And I kind of freaked out and whoa, what was that? And I realized that I felt part of it leave. And I went, wait, that was way too easy. So I searched around for it, couldn't find it. And eventually I was told, you know what, quit looking. You felt part of it leave, just accept that gift. And I had to come to terms with the fact that, yeah, I did feel it leave. And I'm sure it's not 100% of it's gone. And in fact, I know it's not 100% of it is gone, but I felt part of it leave. While I was there, I searched through my brain and I found some other things and deleted them, but for the life of me, I cannot remember what they were. Then I had another vision, and in this vision, I was a mountain. And my moth was with me as I was a mountain, and the peak of me was this amber, kind of gem-looking peak, and it was glowing with amber light. And the thing about me in this mountain is that I was covered in a tent. So I had a tent just perfectly covering every peak of me. To the left of me was a blue mountain, a mountain in a blue tent. To the right of me was a smaller mountain that was in a yellow tent. And I was in the middle, a green tented mountain. And for some reason, I was so worried about what the blue mountain thought of me. I was just thinking, man, I hope the blue mountain thinks I'm cool, or I don't know. I was just really worried about what the blue mountain thought of me. And my moth told me, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, you're the only one in this tent." And I went, "Oh yeah, you're right. The mountain's clear over there. He actually can't even see me. I'm covered in a tent. And I'm worried about what he thinks of me? I'm the only one in this tent, so the only person's opinion that matters is my own. He's clear over there. He can't even see me. And inside this tent, I'm this beautiful mountain with this glowing amber peak." Just real simple, but it was profound for me. That really helped me realize that I shouldn't care what other people think, because their opinions of me don't matter. And plus, I can't tell what they think. I can't even see the blue mountain. He's in a tent. So I don't know if he's even looking at me. It was really powerful, and it helped me realize that, hey, I'm the only one in my tent. Whenever I tell people that vision, they always laugh. I didn't know it was funny until I shared it with people. Then while I was a mountain, I had this idea come to me. I thought, I wonder if I could jump into someone else's vision, because I had a room full of 12 people or something that were on ayahuasca as well. And I thought, I wonder if I could jump into someone else's vision. So I looked in the distance and I could see a mountain in a gray tent. And for some reason I just knew it was my buddy Ivan from Bulgaria. I realized that he was the gray mountain, and I thought, I wonder if I can just kind of send him a message. And so I sent him a message, and I haven't told him what it was yet. I told him to be prepared to be underwhelmed, but I sent him a message, and I mean, I know he didn't get it, because that's a stretch. But if he did get it, I might just freak out. Then after I was a mountain, I saw myself again in a field, naked, and with my moth, I just kind of inspected my body. And I decided, okay, now I need to look for my addiction. And so I'm scanning over my body with my moth, and I find it, and it's on my left side, on my left abdomen. And I'm bathed in fluorescent green light, as always, when I'm looking through my moth. But I can see it on my left side, and it's this tannish, yellowish, ugly color. And I see it, and I'm looking at it, and again, the same thing, kind of like when I found that blob. I thought, what do I do with this? I found it, and I stare at it for a minute, and I think, well, I wonder if I can delete this. Poof, and it was gone. Okay, now if I freaked out last time, when I deleted the how much I care about people blob, I times that by 100. I was so freaked out. I could not believe it was that easy. But I felt part of it leave. So I really searched. I searched around. I kept searching and searching for it. I said, there's no way I deleted it. I've been suffering with this for so long. There's no way, just like that, I'm able to delete it. So I searched and searched, searched and searched. And again, Mother Ayahuasca told me, she said, be content that it's gone. Not all of it. I'm sure 100% of it isn't gone, but you felt part of it leave. So just accept this gift and move on. Because if you find a trace of it, after you felt part of it leave, you're just going to convince yourself that it didn't work at all. So again, I had to accept. I said, yeah, I felt part of it leave. Thank you. And I moved on. And I can tell you now that I've been home, it's not gone. It's not completely gone. But part of it is. Super helpful. And again, this medicine helped me reach conclusions in my life that I don't think I would have reached on my own. Just to delete that, even if it was just a sliver, that's huge. Crazy. I couldn't even feel my addiction beneath the surface when I was searching for it. I thought, okay, now I got to look for the emotions that are attached, for the urges that are attached, and I couldn't see any of it. And that's when Mother Ayahuasca gave me her message. Said, quit looking. That was about it. The vision ended after that, and the shamans left. We lit a candle. We all huddled up as we always did, and we talked. And I was talking with Ivan and Anatoly. And as I was talking with Ivan and Toly, Toly started talking to me about shame. He talked about how harmful shame is, and how religion can oftentimes provoke that shame and often take advantage of those who are susceptible to it. And I thought, story of my life, Toly. I really feel like I was kind of overworked as a kid, and all of it stemmed to shame. I felt, well, I'm terrible, so yeah, I need to do all the work I can and be super obedient and da-da-da-da, and it just made me a mess. Then Ivan asked me what my thoughts were on God, Jesus, religion, after all of my visions. I thought, while I was in my visions, I never felt God, I never felt anything, but I felt a strong sense of spirituality. It was very, very spiritual. And for me, when I was in my visions, I was just in my brain. I was just in my brain exploring my amazing brain. And honestly, I don't think that makes it any less meaningful. I really don't. Our brains are amazing. And I didn't realize it until I went on this journey. And I didn't even feel like I was in another dimension. And just so you know, this is kind of out there sounding stuff, but some people who take ayahuasca believe that our consciousness is traveling to another dimension, and that Mother Ayahuasca is an actual being, that she's real, and she's kind of the goddess of this dimension. And I didn't feel that either. I don't know that I buy that. But I'll tell you that I have an open mind to whatever. Who knows? Who am I to say? But for me, like I said, I was just in my brain. After we talked for a while, I laid down again on my mat, and just like last time, the ayahuasca took me again. And instead of being terrified, I just said, you know what? I was fine last time. Let's just enjoy it. And so I did. All night, and this lasted a long time, hours and hours. I didn't go to bed till very early in the morning. And when I woke up in the morning, I was still having mini visions. And it was awesome. There was no need for me to panic. And during that time where I was having these mini visions, one second. Sorry, I could hear my dog chewing on something. I wanted to make sure it wasn't my sprinklers. It was just a bottle that blew in our yard. While I was in this second vision kind of thing, where I was having these mini visions for hours and hours, I was able to look at my wife. And I saw her through my moth's eyes, and she was glowing in green light, but I could tell she was a little sad. And that made me sad. And I realized that I wasn't loving her like I should be. And I realized that I wanted to fall back in love with her. That silly love, that we used to have. And I decided I was going to make the effort and work on that. My wife was real happy to hear that when I told her that. And we're doing well. Also, it should be noted that whenever I see my wife in my visions, she's completely naked. I knew she would get a kick out of that, and she did. Part of this vision, I really just took a lot of time and just looked at her. Looked at her body with and without my moth. I mean, that's kind of interesting, having to do with my addiction and pornography and all that stuff. But this wasn't pornography. This was just beautiful. And it was just something special between my wife and I. And I won't go too deep into it and embarrass her any more than I have to, but it was just really special between us, husband and wife. It was really neat. The last part of my vision, and I haven't thought about this until now, but I think ayahuasca was sending me off, was saying goodbye. The very last vision I had with ayahuasca, I just saw myself through my moth, and it was just the purest, loving creature seeing me and just loving the hell out of me. Again, this is a huge boost in confidence for me, having dealt with depression, self-hatred, and just a terrible inner dialogue with myself. To see myself in that context was really empowering and a huge boost in confidence. Just to see myself without any of these filters we always put on with judgment and even context. He just saw me and he just loved me. And that was the last thing I saw before my visions ended. I know that this is a different way of going about solving your issues. I've been to therapy. I've talked it out with my wife. And those were not as helpful as 3 ceremonies of ayahuasca. Not by a long shot. I really think this is a medicine. It affects everyone differently. And so I do not believe it's for everyone. But I also believe that for a lot of people, it would do a lot of good. If you are interested, feel free to reach out to me. I know a guy. Thank you for having an open mind. And again, for all of you that have been supportive. All my friends and family that have reached out to me, thank you so much. Really means a lot to me. If you have any questions, you want me to be more specific on certain parts of my vision, again, just reach out to me. I'm happy to talk about anything. And thanks for your time. And do what makes you happy. Thanks.